Yo, it's Sage. Sage Against the Machine coming at you. I think I need an intro. Could I just steal Rage Against the Machine? I'm sure they would love that. I'm not really knowledgeable or even really that interested in copyright. I'm not going to I don't know anything about copyright. What am I going to do? I'm going to do a 20-minute monologue on things I don't know anything about, like copyright. I don't know. I mean, Joe Rogan has an intro. He does 6 minutes of commercials also. Maybe someday I'll get an intro. I don't know, but did you come here for the intro? I think not. You came for this magnificence. We are creating a podcast studio at 15 Broad Street. And so, we're still tweaking things, but I'm liking it more and more. I mean, the audio is looking good. The video is okay. It's all right. It's actually, it's better than it was. I'll give him that. I'll give this camera. I'm just using a 920, a Logitech 920, which is a nice little camera. But it's not my dream camera. My dream camera, it's dreamy. It is dreamy. But the audio, this microphone right here is what is this? It's an SM7B. The SM7B microphone. And the reason I picked it was because it's the microphone that, I don't know if she still uses it, but it was the microphone that Robin Quivers used on the Howard Stern show. It's a great microphone. And in fact, you can see it, you'll see it around in different podcasts, but it's great. And this is in conjunction with a group called the Electric Company, which is a music studio here at our building. And so they know audio, and their audio, I'm just like, it's looking good. The audio's looking good, man. I think. Do you think? I think so. And the camera, it's on me. The lighting, it's okay. It's all right. I know how to make it better with money. That's how you make it better, with money. I haven't put out a Sage Against the Machine podcast recently, but what I have been doing are these Sunday Morning with Sage over on Facebook, and they're like 2 hours long, and maybe I should just put them on the podcast. Maybe I will. But they're, if you think that this is rambly, holy cow. Sunday Morning with Sage, that's just ridiculous. I usually try to come into these podcasts with some topic, some mild topic, vaguely. Mostly I just wanted to put out a podcast because I haven't put out one recently, and I wanted to, try it here with there's some new equipment and whatnot, and so I just wanted to give it a spin, give it a whirl. And so at any rate, interesting week for me. Homelessness just gets me worked up. There's a part of me that wishes it didn't, that wishes that I would just go on with my life like everybody else and just, shrug it off. Just be like, yeah, people living on the streets, freezing to death. What else is new? Welcome to America. But for some reason, it got into my soul, and it irritates the crap out of me. It's like when a clam has a piece of sand in it, and it ends up turning into being a pearl. I don't think mine's ever going to turn into a pearl. I think it's just going to turn into a craggy rock. Nothing nice and polished can come out of this. I don't know. I walk around my house sometimes just saying over and over again, there are people living on the streets. Like, and I think my kid and my wife are like, oh my Lord, here he goes. Because then I just say it over and over and over again. There are people living on the streets. And I'm assuming most people don't really get that. I mean, like they get it, right? Like they get that there are rocket ships that go to the moon. Like that. You're like, hey, can we go to the moon? Yeah. I think we're gonna go. We're gonna get there pretty soon. We haven't been there in a while, but 2020, I think they're trying to get back to the moon on 2020. I think this is the year. Thanks to private investors like SpaceX, and I think even Boeing has a rocket, or somebody else has a rocket, and so now we get the NASA collaboration with private companies, and it's super cool. But do you really get that? Do you really get that we fly into space? Do you know what I'm saying? Do you feel me? Do you really like do you understand we're flying into space, man? Like there's different levels. It's like sometimes when you go to see a cartoon movie and there's the level that the kid gets, and then they put in some other stuff that is just for adults, and you're like, oh, I can't believe they just said that. And that's what this is like. I don't think I can accurately appreciate the fact that we are sending people into space like probably a rocket scientist can appreciate it, I'm like, yeah, that's amazing. That's really cool. Let's do that again. But a rocket scientist is like, no, man, you don't understand. You don't understand that the calculations of projectiles and combustion and things I don't even know. I can't even say the words because I don't even know. I feel like that's how I am with homelessness. Like, I'm just surrounded by homelessness. Okay. And I choose to be because I really enjoy their company. They're interesting people. They lift my spirits. They're fun. They have meaningful problems in their life, which I can appreciate. That's nice. It's just, I don't know. They just feel real to me. Like, homeless people feel like real people. They're doing real people stuff, as opposed to most of us who are doing who knows what. Pushing papers around, moving money from one bank account to another bank account. Like, oh, here's a car. Oh, look, I got paid today. You can see it in my bank. Let's go to Walmart. Oh, here you go, Walmart. And money's moving around, and that's what we call living. Like, it's fine. I'm not, that's my life. I mean, that's who I am. But I like coming over here and hanging out with homeless people because they're like, money, man. You don't get it. And I'm like, yeah, man, I know I don't get it. I know. And I just want to get it. And so at any rate, I think that's it. Like, I think it's like I'm able to maybe appreciate the profound torture and cruelty and systemic brokenness, because I'm with these people all the time and I know their situation, and they're my friends. I guess that's it. They're my friends. And I'm not by any stretch of the imagination saying I'm the only one that can do this. I mean, I work with a lot of people that work very closely with these folks, you know. But I would say for the most part, I mean, okay, let's take a poll. Have you ever talked to a homeless person for more than 10 minutes? Okay. I would say that if you have ever talked to a homeless person, a person currently experiencing homelessness for more than 10 minutes, it instantly puts you in about the 95 percentile bracket. I would say the other 95% of society has never talked to a homeless person for more than 10 minutes. Okay. I'm making these numbers up, people, but you feel me, right? Okay. Have you ever gone into the woods to bring a homeless person supplies? Okay. I would say that probably jumps you up to the 97, maybe 98th percentile. Have you ever served a meal? Okay. Have you ever served a meal? That actually is probably lower, like below. That's like in the low 90s. Like you still didn't spend 10 minutes to talk with a homeless person. You just served them a dinner, like Thanksgiving dinner. You know, you didn't sit down and actually eat it with them. Which is great. I'm not saying that's bad at all. I'm just saying maybe 85, you're in the 85 percentile there, maybe 15% of people maybe have done that kind of engagement, or maybe handed a homeless person $1 on the street. Probably 90 percentile. If I'm lucky, I don't know. Well, that's a very, very provocative statement I'm making there. How dare you hand $1 to a homeless person? They're probably rich and just going to spend it on drugs. Like you were going to go spend it on something meaningful. When I run out of this tea, this podcast is over, by the way. Oh, plus I have to go pick up my kid from school pretty soon. Have you ever, it's like one of those drinking games. Have you ever worked on a project with a homeless person? Like, I don't know, cleaning out a room, or, you know, have you ever hired a homeless person? Have you ever let a homeless person sleep in your car? Let's see, what else? Have you ever gone out to eat with a homeless person? Have you ever invited a homeless person to your house? Have you ever spent the night with a homeless person in the streets? I haven't, but I want to. I'm going to. Maybe this is the year. It's embarrassing that I haven't. This is the year I go and spend at least one night with some homeless people. But not when it's cold. I'm too much of a wuss. Anyways, look, Have you ever put 50 tents in your backyard, okay? Tried to manage that. I could tell you stories. You should never think that I'm just some sort of Pollyanna about homeless people. They can make me so mad. Oh, so mad. Oh. Do you know why? Because they're people. People make you mad. Your best friend ever make you mad? Your mom make you mad? Your dad make you mad? Your sister, your brother, your cousin, your uncle? People are people. And they do stupid crap. But I'm always able to let it go with homeless people, which I think sometimes gets me in trouble because they know I'll let it go. I don't always let it go, but I usually let it go. Sometimes I don't. I won't back down. I'm not that. I'll go toe to toe. I will not back down. I am not a victim. I am not going to walk around these streets like being a victim. But I can forgive him because I can easily appreciate the horrificness of their situation. So, that's the thing. Like, people, I'll get into some discussions, and there are certain homeless people, like if I mention them, people will be like, that guy's a no good drug user. He used to sell drugs to my nephew and blah, blah, blah. That guy's a loser. And so it comes down to, I think maybe motive. For me, like when a person does bad things, okay? I know a guy who beat his dad over the head with a baseball bat, okay? I know that guy. In fact, I gave him a ride today to a mental hospital. That made me really mad that he did that. That made me really mad because I really like this guy. How could he take a metal baseball bat to his dad's head? His dad lived. He's doing fine. His dad's tough. But it made me mad. Mostly because I've gone to bat for this guy. He was once attacked by some drug dealers, and I stuck my neck out for him because they almost cut his leg off, and I was pissed. This kid didn't deserve that. And then a few months later, he does this to his dad. Hits his dad over the head with a baseball bat. And it's not even that I forgive him. I guess you could call it that. But it is what is it? Is it not his fault? He did it. It's his action. So it is his fault. But this guy has problems. Serious problems. And in fact, today I saw him in the parking lot, and I was like, "Hey, man, what's up?" And he's like, "Man, And the reason I went over was because I don't know, he was just acting weird and standing in the middle of the parking lot, and I don't know. It looked like he was gonna start undressing or something. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I got to do something. And so I went over and I talked to him, and he's like, "Hey, man, I feel like I'm gonna hurt somebody." And I'm like, "Okay, all right." And like, so considering his previous behavior, I take that seriously. It's no joke. And so I did not want to leave him in the parking lot of this grocery store because I didn't know what he would do. And, I mean, could he hurt me? Of course he could. But we have a good relationship, and I just took him in the car, and I was like, "Hey, man, you want to come over to our place and maybe color or something?" And he's like, yeah. He's like, "But man, I need my meds." He's like, "I don't know if they took them or I lost them. I don't know where they are, but I really need them because they really help, and I don't have them, and I'm really messed up." And I'm like, "Well, do you want to go down to the mental health place? You want to go down to Portage Path?" And he's like, "Yeah, I mean, sure." So I went down there, and I told him, I said, I'm like, "Hey, I think this guy is maybe a danger to himself or others." I think that's like what you're supposed to say. I don't know, because it worked. I got to go up the stairs, and I got into the psychiatric area, and I had to leave. But he was there, and so this guy is out of his mind, okay? He has severe mental illness, okay? And a brutal life. Just a brutal life. He was just, dealt a hand of cards. We're all just dealt a hand of cards, people. I am continually in belief that most of life is just luck. Steve Jobs, Bill Gates. If they were born right now, they wouldn't be Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. They were born in the perfect time, perfect location. There's a book about it. I forget that guy's name. He writes these books about statistics, and you know who I'm talking about. You're probably yelling at me right now. It's blah, blah, blah. Is it The Tipping Point? One of those books. I read it. I can almost say his name. Anyways, I need to get some of that Joe Rogan alpha brain, baby. So I can't be mad at this guy. How can I be mad at a guy that is severely mentally ill? It's like being mad at a paraplegic for not being able to walk. Like, get up, man. You're going to make me carry you? Well, dude, I can't walk. Yeah, well, it sucks. And it's your body, so your fault. That's sort of how I feel about it. But then you add to the component of it that, this guy has hurt people. And so, but it's not hard for me to not be angry at him. It's not. I just don't know how I could be angry at this guy. Okay. Now, do I know bad people? Yes. Bad people know what they're doing and do it anyways and do it repeatedly. And I have those kinds of relationships in my life too in the homeless population. And they are not as easily forgiven in my mind. Because they take advantage of me. And they're not doing it because they're mentally ill. They're doing it because they're opportunists. That's the complicated thing. They oftentimes are mentally ill as well. But the mental illness is not making them take advantage of me. The thieving of them, the thief in them is taking advantage of me. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah. So, like, but you know what? I'll forgive them too. I guarantee. But I do oftentimes, when that happens to me, draw a line in the sand and make them, like, get out of my life, at least for a while. Because, A, I don't want to be seen as a sucker. And I don't want to be treated poorly intentionally. So, so it comes down to, I think, intention, motivation. What is the motivation? Is the motivation insanity, or is the motivation opportunity? And so, yeah, you have to treat everybody differently, like, so the drug dealers that tried to cut off this guy's leg, I'm still angry at them because that fucking sucks. And you know what? I can understand it because this kid can act really crazy and probably didn't pay him and blah, 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 blah. But they didn't need to do that shit to him. He didn't deserve that. It's just a kid with mental illness. So they pissed me off. And I was angry at this kid when he hit his dad over the head with a baseball bat for a long time. But the drug dealers that tried to cut off his leg, in my mind, are at a different place than this kid that hit his dad over the head with a baseball bat. They just came at it from different points of view. So this all started, I guess, because, this whole conversation began like there are people living on the streets. And for me, you take these predator drug dealers and these severely mentally ill people and you put them together and you have the most fucked up movie you can imagine. Because it's just abuse and chaos and torture, and there is nobody to help you. They can't go to the police because usually they have a warrant. They can't get into shelters because a lot of times the shelters are terrible. Drug use going on in there, violence going on in there, or they might have gotten permanently banned from the shelter. That's a common thing. They're just out there roaming all night long with nothing, just free falling in America. And it's just the most surreal, torturous movie I can imagine. It's the new Joaquin Phoenix Joker. I mean, I'd say that's the closest movie to make you potentially appreciate the bitter cruelty of our system and how it can make a person like the Joker, and how you do not condone the actions, but you understand the motivation. And that's where you have to potentially find some sort of compassion. I think we are capable of that as human beings, to be able to look at different people. You take the same action. Two people kill an innocent human being. One does it because they are a murderer, and the other does it because they are psychotic. Those are two different scenarios and deserve two different approaches. And I'm not saying that these psychotic, dangerous people need to roam our streets. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we've got to do something about it, because the system is churning this out. These people become psychotic and schizophrenic because of the trauma of their circumstances. We've got to learn this. We've got to become nuanced as a society. We have to, because otherwise we're never going to solve any of these problems. All right, everybody, I got to go pick up my kid. I hope you enjoyed this or whatever it, and I will see you next time. Bye.